Hey all you sports fans out there in the Jewel Sphere. Welcome to the One Man Sports Rant Gen 2.0. I am your host, Will, the alternative ESPN, or in this case NBC Sports Thrill. Winding down our Olympics only format coverage. Today was the end of the day. We're at the end of the Olympics and I'm catching up on some old material here. So what is Gen 2.0? Just briefly, with the OMSR and Generation 1 we had over 200 plus shows. Doing this for 2 years. College football and basketball is our specialty. And we don't cover every event, but we seem to have a knack for timing up the singular, important, first ever, first in 10 year type deals, like Baylor's Heisman Trophy and Indiana's last second shot against Kentucky and so forth. Well, the NFL came a caller one day and dinged me because I showed a brief highlight of how the Super Bowl ended. And I talked to the gal there at NFL Liability, the LLC, that is to say, in New York. She told me flat out they do not give permission, or ever will, to anyone to use video clips of that sort in that nature. So don't go there, because they will find you. They just sit around looking for videos all day on the social networking side. So that sounds like a tough job, huh? So I just took it down. The NCAA, was bugging me with content ID matches for some of the tournament games I'd covered this year, but the majority not. It's like, where's the paradigm here? So I took it down really low. I said, okay, forget this. We're going to start over with a clean slate. Every show for every clip highlight. Now, it's not 15 minutes of me talking. It's not 15 minutes of sports highlights either. So if it's not your cup of tea, I understand. You can fast forward on average 6 to 10 minutes ahead to get to the sports highlights. That's why you would want to watch, because the OMSR specializes in putting together a good vignette, start to end, so you can get an idea of how the game evolved through time, not just starting in the fourth quarter. And you do get a little bit longer highlight reel than, say, your 1 to 2 minute clip version, which are all over YouTube from the from the files of what's the point of doing that? Not here. We're not interested in that. We're not trying to get a million hits on uploads. Sports talk show mainly with brief video highlights, but not too brief. Okay, so with the legal disclaimer, copyright to the OMSR, this show, with brief video highlights courtesy to NBC and the IOC. The OMSR does not own these video highlights, but does own all the original content and the overall concept herein, most rights reserved. We do adhere to 3 key premises as well of the DCA, or the DMCA, Digital Copyright Act, and that is the fair use standard, derivatives, or use a minority amount. You can also throw in a fourth one of no money is exchanging hands, because the OMSR is a pro bono production. Alright, so now you are brought back up to speed. I'll try to re-upload some of those things from Generation 1, the ones that are just like, they're too cool in history. Alright, so today we're talking the heavyweight bout between Russo from Italy and Oleksandr from the Ukraine. On my life rant, sports rant of the day, to carry over from Generation 1, we saw bad reffing, in these matches. That's the heavyweight. That's the second set of clips coming up. In the first set, I covered the middleweight bout between Japan and Cuba. Murata and, I can't remember his name. I've done so many shows since that came on just yesterday, believe it or not. And it's been a common theme throughout these boxing bouts that it's luck of the draw with the reffing. And you'll see in these clips coming up that Murata with his style, but it's the other guy getting warned for the holding when Murata was doing it just as much. I think the referees need to have been former boxers and somewhat younger, because to warn one guy when they're both doing it just doesn't work. And then in the heavyweight bout, you see Oleksandr trying to pull back from the infamous Hugathon Russo from Italy. And the ref standing behind him, he can see that his arm is stuck when he's trying to pull it, and he goes and warns Oleksandr. I think it pissed him off. Alright, so that's my life rant sports rant of the day. They got to change the reffing. We've spoken about it before, but not in the dedicated LRSR. So, in terms of a little bit of interesting analysis that you might not hear on any other network, because we don't have to answer to the network or sponsors with regard to the sports subject we're discussing. Japan's only second gold medal. It was either all of Olympic boxing or in that weight class. That was interesting. Dude from Brazil looked like a Cuban. He fought really good in his last bout, but that guy's style, the Japanese fighter, and a lot of them were like that. They just stay covered up. Not really, they box, they might throw punches 3 to every 30 seconds, it seems like. And they just walk you down, and, you know, that's not holding, but it's not really boxing either. They should try to, like, disallow that. Too many boxers these Olympics, I noticed, did that style. And then with regard to Russo and Oleksandr, we found out that, yeah, it wasn't going to work for him this time. And just right when I was ready to give Aiva a little bit of credit because they made corrections on the fly, this year's tournament with the Azerbaijan deal and then, you know, the Iranian getting disqualified too quickly and reinstating the American, he got a second shot. And typically it takes him like 6 months apparently to make a decision. You'll hear in the second round of clips, the heavyweight bout, that Aiva signed Russo to they're starting up a boxing league and whatnot. Have they not watched this guy fight? We all certainly did. They did a funny little bit as the intro to that fight. I think I'll attach that with Layla's interview. It'll be the last boxing show. And you know, Russo's got attitude. He had attitude. I saw him fight 2 to 3 other times last week where he's like, and you'll see it. And Oleksandr caught him twice. Check it out. That second time that he catches him, yeah, you see a total change in his demeanor, Oleksandr's demeanor. He definitely won it from that point on. But he definitely got his attention at the beginning of round 2. Pay attention to that. If you watch Oleksandr fight the Bulgarian, he looks good. He looks like he could be a really good pro. Alright, so that's it on today's video highlights. Pay attention, 2 boxing bouts. They are clipped, and then it's all strung together. Okay, so without further ado, we bid adieu to Eddie, Iron Maiden's mascot. You heard the trooper, figured that was the perfect tune, because as I see it, every athlete in these Olympics has been a trooper to get to this point, with all the time and energy they put into the training and the sacrifices. So the trooper award goes to Oleksandr from the Ukraine, man, because he put the beat down on Russo. That huggy style didn't fly. Okay, so no silly DUIs while you're out there post-Olympics in later days and better place.
Bounce a little bit. 5-3 Murata after 1. You're going to see Falcao picking some good combinations. I talked earlier about intelligent combinations against Murata. He covers up, find the opening. Right there. Good job of Falcao finding the opening. Put a couple together, split the guard.
And see though, we're seeing Murata in these bouts just kind of walk down his opponent and they start getting a little tired, and that's where Murata starts landing punches inside and wearing down his opponent.
Defense. He's helping himself by tying up on the inside. Now he's helping himself by getting his punches off, getting a little second wind there, picking a spot. He figured if he could rest a little bit, now he can work a little bit.
Probably going to need a big last minute with that warning going against him. Straight left hand by Falcao.
Did a little work, a little grabbing, and hope that it was enough. Right there, he gets caught with an uppercut from Murata.
And remember, Falcao was issued a warning. There's a good 1-2 from Falcao, which means that the judges can add 2 points to the score of Murata, who is leading by 1 going into the last round. Teddy, I think Murata of Japan probably going to hold on to Esquiva Falcao's rally.
Well, especially if the judges did decide, as you pointed out, if they did decide it was their option to give 2 points or add 2 points to the score of Murata.
Well, the Yamaguchi Falcao has earned a bronze. Is it silver or gold for brother Esquiva, or gold for Japan's Ryota Murata?
Like that was the difference, those 2 points.
It was 5-5 scored in the last round. Down by a 3-1 score to Russo as we start round 2.
just signed recently with the new AIBA Pro Boxing League.
Russo.
And he goes to his feet right there. He goes off his feet, I should say. Loses his own balance. I don't think it was a punch so much as his own bad footwork, although something might have touched him.
I thought a left hand might have touched him. Russo was down big to Timur Mamedov of Azerbaijan in his last bout, had a 9-4 final round and won it.
Well, I'll tell you, a moment ago, Bob, a left hand from the bigger, stronger Usyk. The action, good action for Usyk. That straight left hand, you know, you're probably right there, Bob. The straight left hand landed, and then Russo trying to get out of the way, tripped himself. So a little trip, a little help from the left hand from Usyk.
And the thing is, even if it was scored a knockdown in Olympic-style boxing, it doesn't count for any extra points.
Those swinging wide shots, they come at you. Plenty of chances to punch inside of them. Good work by Usyk.
After Russo had done good work of his own. Both boxers holding.
Ukraine boxers that are still in the Olympics, they also signed, including Usyk. And there's a good left hand by Usyk. The uppercut misses, but the second one does not. The benefit of putting three together instead of one. Some work there.
An Olympic champion in the red corner, representing Ukraine, Clemente Russo.
25-year-old Oleksandr Usyk with a 6-3 final round, and he has won gold in the heavyweight division.
Well, I'll tell you what, that gold medal will make that hairdo look a little better.
And even the Italian coaches, they knew it, and Clemente Russo, his third Olympics, he's won silver again. And Usyk did a little dance in celebration of his victory.
He earned it.
Well done, Oleksandr Usyk.
And Russo was just simply all over the place in the third round. You could see, BJ, that his lack of fundamentals really cost him. He's behind, and now he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, and you see Usyk coming exactly where he's supposed to, right up the middle.